1. How did DC Comics get its start, and who were its earliest superheroes? DC Comics got its start in 1934 under the name National Allied Publications. The company was founded by Malcolm Wheeler Nicholson and primarily published adventure and detective comics. In 1938, they introduced their first superhero, Superman, who became an instant sensation and helped to launch the golden age of comics. Following the success of Superman, DC Comics introduced a number of other iconic superheroes, including Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, and Aquaman. These characters, along with many others, became the backbone of DC Comics' publishing empire, which grew to include a wide range of comic book series and graphic novels. Over the years, DC Comics has continued to evolve and expand, with new characters, storylines, and adaptations in film, television, and other media. However, the legacy of its earliest superheroes and the impact they had on popular culture continues to be felt to this day. Some text goes here are what are some of the most iconic storylines and characters in the DC Comics universe, and why are they so popular? Some text goes here. There are numerous iconic storylines and characters in the DC Comics universe, but here are a few that stand out. 1. The Dark Knight Returns. This gritty and dark storyline from Frank Miller features an aging Batman coming out of retirement to take on a new generation of villains. Its dark tone and innovative art style help to redefine the Batman character for a new era. 2. Watchmen. This groundbreaking comic book series from writer Alan Moore and artist Dave Gibbons features a group of flawed and complex superheroes dealing with issues of power, morality, and the human condition. Its adult themes and intricate storytelling help to elevate the comic book medium to a new level of sophistication. 3. Superman, the Man of Steel. This series from writer John Byrne helped to reboot and modernize the Superman character for a new generation, exploring his origins and his place in a changing world. 4. The Justice League. This team of superheroes, including Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, and Green Lantern, among others, has become a symbol of the DC Comics universe and has been adapted in numerous forms of media. 5. Batman, The Killing Joke. This dark and controversial story from writer Alan Moore and artist Brian Bolland explores the origins of the Joker character and his relationship with Batman. Its shocking twists and disturbing imagery have made it a fan favorite. These storylines and characters are so popular because they have helped to redefine and expand the superhero genre, exploring complex themes and characters that have resonated with fans for generations. They have also been adapted into numerous forms of media, reaching a wider audience and cementing their place in popular culture. 3. How has DC Comics evolved over the years, both in terms of its storytelling and its cultural impact? DC Comics has faced criticism and controversy over various storylines and characters throughout its history. One example is the portrayal of female characters, which has often been criticized as sexist and overly sexualized. In response, DC has taken steps to improve representation and diversity, such as creating more female-led titles and hiring more women as writers and artists. Another example is the backlash over a storyline in which Batman gets married to Catwoman, only to have the wedding disrupted at the last minute. Many fans were disappointed with the storyline and felt that it was a cheap ploy for attention. DC Comics responded by acknowledging the negative reaction and promising to make changes in future storylines. In general, DC Comics has shown a willingness to listen to fans and address their concerns. This has led to changes in storylines, character portrayals, and editorial decisions. DC has also taken steps to improve representation of underrepresented groups, such as people of color, the LGBTQ+ community, and people with disabilities. Overall, the lessons learned are that it is important to listen to fans and take their concerns seriously, to strive for diversity and representation in storytelling, and to be willing to make changes when necessary to create a more inclusive and welcoming environment for all fans. 4. What new directions is DC Comics taking in terms of diversity and representation, and how are fans responding? DC Comics has been taking steps in recent years to increase diversity and representation in its comics, both in terms of characters and creators. This includes introducing more characters from underrepresented groups, such as the Korean American superheroine, the Green Lantern Sojourner Jo Mullein, and the non-binary superhero, Kid Quick. Additionally, DC has been hiring more diverse writers and artists to work on their comics. These efforts have generally been met with positive responses from fans, who appreciate the increased representation and diversity in DC's stories. However, there have also been some negative reactions from fans who feel that the changes are unnecessary or forced. One example of this is the introduction of a new version of the character, Tim Drake, who is bisexual. While many fans were supportive of the move, others criticized it as pandering or woke storytelling. Similarly, the introduction of a new non-binary character, Kid Quick, has been met with both positive and negative reactions. Despite some negative feedback, it is clear that DC Comics is committed to increasing diversity and representation in their comics. As they continue to introduce new characters and stories, it will be interesting to see how fans respond and whether these efforts lead to lasting changes in the industry. 5. What impact has DC Comics had on popular culture and the entertainment industry, and what is its legacy? The future of DC Comics is both exciting and uncertain, with many new projects and adaptations in the works. In terms of comics, DC has been experimenting with new formats and distribution methods, including a new digital-first initiative and a return to releasing some of their titles in serialized format. They have also announced plans for several new series featuring popular characters like Batman and Wonder Woman, as well as new characters like the Black Batman and the Asian American superhero, Monkey Prince. On the adaptation front, DC has several new film and television projects in the works, including the highly anticipated film, The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, and the upcoming HBO Max series, Peacemaker, starring John Cena. DC also has several animated projects in Six. How does DC Comics compare to its biggest rival, Marvel Comics, and what sets it apart? DC Comics and Marvel Comics are two of the largest and most successful comic book publishers in the world, and while they share many similarities, they also have several key differences. One of the most notable differences between the two publishers is the tone of their comics. While Marvel is often known for its more lighthearted, humorous approach, DC tends to be more serious and grounded, with a focus on mythology and larger-than-life characters. Another key difference is the way the two publishers handle their shared universes. While Marvel has a highly interconnected universe in which characters frequently cross over between titles, DC has traditionally kept its various characters and storylines more separate, with occasional crossover events. In terms of iconic characters, both DC and Marvel have their fair share of popular heroes and villains, but DC is perhaps best known for characters like Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, while Marvel is most associated with characters like Spider-Man, the X-Men, and the Avengers. Despite these differences, both DC and Marvel have a long history of producing high-quality comics, and both have had significant impact on popular culture and entertainment. Ultimately, the choice between the two publishers comes down to personal taste and preference. What are some of the most obscure and little-known characters in the DC Comics universe, and what are their stories? 4. B'wana Beast. Originally introduced in the 1960s, Buena Beast is a superhero with the ability to fuse two different animals together into a single, hybrid creature. 5. Vibe, a relatively recent addition to the DC Comics universe. Vibe is a superhero with the power to manipulate sound waves and create shockwaves. These are just a few examples of the many obscure and little-known characters in the DC Comics universe, each with their own unique stories and abilities. 8. How has DC Comics responded to criticism and controversy over certain storylines or characters, and what lessons have been learned? DC Comics, like any major entertainment company, has faced criticism and controversy over various storylines and characters throughout its history. The company has responded to these controversies in different ways, depending on the specific situation. For example, in the 1990s, DC Comics faced criticism for its depiction of violence and the use of graphic imagery in some of its comic books. In response, the company implemented the Comics Code Authority, which established guidelines for the content of its publications and helped to reduce the controversy over violent imagery. In recent years, DC Comics has faced criticism over its portrayal of certain characters and storylines. For example, the company has been criticized for its handling of iconic characters like Batgirl and the treatment of female characters in general. In response, DC Comics has made an effort to increase diversity and representation in its comics, including hiring more diverse writers and artists and introducing more diverse characters and storylines. Another example of a controversy that DC Comics has faced is the representation of LGBTQ+ characters. The company has been criticized for not having enough representation of LGBTQ+ characters and for its handling of the portrayal of these characters. In response, DC Comics has made an effort to increase the representation of LGBTQ+ characters and storylines in its comics, including introducing new LGBTQ+ characters and storylines. In terms of lessons learned, DC Comics has shown a willingness to listen to its fans and respond to criticism. The company recognizes the importance of representation and diversity in its comics and has made efforts to address these issues in its publications. However, it is still a work in progress and there is room for improvement in terms of how it handles controversial and sensitive issues in its storylines and characters. Some text goes here. What role do fans play in shaping the direction of DC Comics, and how has fan culture evolved over the years? Some text goes here. Fans play a significant role in shaping the direction of DC Comics. Fans are the audience for the company's products and their opinions and feedback can have a significant impact on the company's decisions regarding its characters, storylines, and overall direction. Over the years, fan culture has evolved in many ways. In the early days of comic books, fans were primarily male and most of them were young. However, today's comic book fans are more diverse, with a larger number of female and LGBTQ+ fans, and a wider age range. The rise of the internet and social media has also changed the way fans interact with each other and with the companies that produce comic books. Fans can now easily connect with each other online, share their opinions and fan theories, and participate in discussions about their favorite characters and storylines. This has also allowed fans to have a greater impact on the direction of comic book companies like DC Comics, as their opinions and feedback can be easily shared and heard by the companies. DC Comics has taken advantage of this new fan culture and has used social media and other online platforms to engage with its fans and gather feedback. The company has also created fan-focused events, such as conventions and meet and greets, to connect with its fans and get their input on the direction of its characters and storylines. Overall, fan culture plays a crucial role in shaping the direction of DC Comics, and the company has shown a willingness to listen to its fans and respond to their feedback. The evolution of fan culture has allowed fans to have a greater impact on the comic book industry and to participate in the creation of the stories and characters that they love. What is the future of DC Comics, both in terms of its comics and its adaptations in film, television, and other media? The future of DC Comics looks bright, as the company continues to be a major player in the comic book industry and has seen success with its adaptations in film, television, and other media. In terms of comics, DC Comics has a strong lineup of popular characters and storylines, and it continues to innovate and experiment with new ideas. The company has also shown a commitment to representation and diversity, which has helped to attract new fans and keep its existing fans engaged. In the world of adaptations, DC Comics has seen great success in recent years with its films and television shows, such as the DC Extended Universe film franchise, which includes Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Dawn of Justice, Wonder Woman, and others, as well as the Arrowverse on the CW network, which includes popular shows like Arrow, The Flash, and Supergirl. The company has also seen success with its streaming service, DC Universe, which offers a wide selection of DC Comics content, including original shows like Titans and Doom Patrol. Moving forward, it is likely that DC Comics will continue to focus on creating unknown surprising information about DC Comics. 1. DC Comics was originally named National Allied Publications and was founded in 1934. 2. Superman, one of the most iconic comic book characters of all time, was created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster and made his first appearance in Action Comics #1 in 1938. 3. Wonder Woman, the first female superhero, was created by psychologist William Moulton Marston and made her first appearance in All-Star Comics #8 in 1941. 4. Batman, the Dark Knight of Gotham, was created by Bob Kane and Bill Finger and made his first appearance in Detective Comics #27 in 1939. 5. The first interracial kiss in mainstream comic books occurred in the 1967 issue of Green Lantern/Green Arrow, where Green Arrow kissed the Black Canary. 6. DC Comics was the first comic book company to offer benefits to its freelance workers, including health insurance, in the 1940s. 7. The character Harley Quinn was created for Batman, the animated series, and later made her comic book debut in the Batman Adventures #12 in 1993. 8. DC Comics was one of the first comic book companies to deal with social and political issues, such as anti-war sentiments, in its comics during the 1960s and 1970s. 9. The DC Comics character Swamp Thing, created by Len Wein and Bernie Wrightson, was the first comic book character to be adapted into a feature film by legendary horror director Wes Craven. 10. DC Comics and Marvel Comics, two of the largest comic book companies in the world, have a shared universe, known as the DC Marvel Multiverse, where characters from both companies have crossed over and interacted with each other.